Sarah Louise Palin, née Heath, was born in Sandpoint, Idaho, the third of 4 children, Chuck Jr., Heather, and Molly, of Sarah Sally Heath, a school secretary, and Charles R. Chuck Heath, a science teacher and track and field coach. When Sarah was a few months old, her family moved to Skagway, Alaska, where her father had been hired to teach. They relocated to Eagle River in 1969 and settled in Wasilla in 1972. Sarah was quite active in her days in school. She played the flute in her school's junior high band and was the president of the Christian Athletes Fellowship and a member of the girls' basketball and cross-country running teams in Wasilla High School. During her senior years, she was co-captain and point guard on the basketball team that won the Alaska State Championship in 1982, earning the nickname Sarah Barracuda for her competitive spirit. An outdoor lover, Sarah grew up an ardent hunter and a lifetime member of the National Rifle Association, eating moose hamburgers and riding snowmobiles. Sarah Palin graduated from high school in 1982 and registered that year as a Republican. After graduating high school, she left Alaska for warmer climes, attending Hawaii Pacific University for a year before heading to North Idaho College. Palin took classes there for 1 year and moved to Idaho University to study journalism at the journalism school. She studied for another year at the university before moving back to Alaska and taking classes at Matanuska-Sustinna College, close to her hometown of Wasilla. After attending classes for a semester, she transferred to the University of Idaho, where she graduated with a degree in communication and journalism in 1987. In 1984, Palin won the Miss Wasilla beauty pageant during a break from college. The award qualified her for the Alaska State Beauty Pageant, where she was runner-up and received the Miss Congeniality title. When Palin went to college, her high school sweetheart Todd stayed in Alaska, establishing a salmon fishing company. On August 29, 1988, Palin eloped with Todd Palin and helped manage her in-laws' commercial fishing company. Todd, who is a manager at Yupik Eskimo, has also worked for BP in the processing facility at Prudhoe Bay. Todd has served as the first dude of Alaska since Palin was elected governor in 2006 and is also a 4-time champion of the 2,000 miles, 3,200 kilometer Iron Dog snowmobile race. Sarah worked briefly as a television sports anchor, and for several years, the couple owned an ATV dealership. Palin and her husband had 5 children all through their marriage: Bristol, Willow, Piper, Track, and Trick. Sarah Palin is involved in her children's lives. She once told an Alaskan newspaper that she wouldn't run for the US Senate because it will interfere with her role as a teen mom. Motherhood found Palin coaching some basketball on the side, finally emerging as a hockey mom. She was always involved in her children's education, serving as a member of the local Parents-Teachers Association. This would mark the start of her career as an elected office. Palin moved into the Democratic scene in 1992, running on the Republican ticket. She gained a position on the Wasilla City Council by resisting tax increases and was elected mayor of Wasilla 4 years later, knocking off 3-term incumbent John Stein. As mayor, Sarah cut property taxes and reduced spending. She raised the city's sales tax by 0.5% to build a popular sports complex, put more money into public safety, and also effectively used the system of congressional earmarks to collect $26.9 million in funding. She was so efficient that she was elected for the second term. In 2002, the 2-time mayor campaigned for the Republican nomination for the office of Lieutenant Governor of Alaska. Though she didn't win the position, Sarah elevated her status within the party and she was named to the Alaska Oil and Gas Conservation Commission by newly elected Republican Governor Frank Murkowski. Palin's tenure on the commission was short-lived, though she resigned in frustration at what she viewed as the lack of ethics of fellow Alaskan Republican officials, including Randy Roodrich, chairman of the Republican Party. Palin further distanced herself from the group in 2004 when she supported Democratic legislators in their quest for an inquiry in the Alaska Attorney General, who had strong relationship with Murkowski. This and other issues hurt Murkowski politically, and in August 2006, Palin challenged him for the Republican nomination for governor. She handily beat him, securing 51% of the votes in a three-way race before moving on to a comfortable victory in the general election 3 months later. Palin became the youngest governor in the history of Alaska and the first woman to hold that position. The first 20 months of Governor Palin's term in office focused primarily on energy. She is chair of the Interstate Oil and Gas Compact Commission and supervised the implementation of legislation authorizing a $40 billion natural gas pipeline to be constructed. In addition to the $2,000 regular bonus check Alaskans are entitled to, the governor approved $1,200 checks for each Alaskan from windfall state oil royalties. This extra money stemmed from the $6 billion that the state raised in Palin's administration of a windfall income tax levied on the oil companies operating in the state. Sarah Palin fashioned herself as a fiscal conservative, particularly in the area of government expenditure. After being elected governor of Alaska in 2006, she withdrew the position of a personal chef in the governor's mansion from the state payroll, placed the governor's private jet for sale on eBay, flew coach, and drove herself to work. However, Sarah was taken to task for taking more than $17,000 in taxpayers' funds as DM expenditure for working from home rather than at her official office in Juneau Capital, which is 600 miles away, 965 kilometers. Sarah's religious views are strong and shape her views on family and morality. Though it was christened as a Catholic, Sarah later became a non-denominational Bible-believing Christian. She is an anti-abortion, anti-stem cell research, and against state health benefits for same-sex partners, and believes that sex education should mostly consist of teaching abstinence. She also advocates the introduction of creationism and intellect design alongside evolution in public schools. Sarah decreed 2 religious state holidays during her tenure as governor, compelling Alaskans to celebrate the National Day of Prayer on May 1, 2008 and declaring November 18 to 25, 2007 as the Bible Week in Alaska. In August 2008, Palin emerged from a feud of high-profile candidates when John McCain chose her to be his running mate in the presidential election that year. She proved an energetic force, particularly popular with the Republican base. Reports of scandals exploded in the newspaper just as she accepted McCain's offer to serve as vice president. Given the negative press, Palin has exhibited an impressive capacity to weather both personal and professional scandals. Palin announced that Bristol was 5 months pregnant at the time of the nomination. The statement also stated that Bristol would marry the unborn child's father, 18-year-old Levi Johnston. Stories about her husband's past also surfaced. The first dude was a member of the Alaskan Independent Party (AIP) from 1995 to 2002. The party wants Alaskans to vote on secession from the United States. Todd Palin was also charged with driving drunk in 1986 at age 22. Palin's integrity came under a cloud of news spread about the Troopergate case. As governor, Palin and her husband stood accused of pressuring the state's public safety commissioner to fire state trooper Mike Wooten, Palin's former brother-in-law, who was involved in a divorce with Palin's sister at the time. Despite the tumultuous scandals, the crowd of voters Palin drew admired her. She also attracted donors. McCain's campaign attracted $7 million the day after he announced Palin as his vice president. However, by election day, she had become extremely polarizing, and the McCain-Palin pairing eventually lost to the Barack and Joe Biden's Democratic ticket. Still, Sarah Palin established herself as a leading figure in Republican National Party politics, and there was intense speculation that she might be seeking the Republican Party's 2012 presidential nomination. On July 26, 2009, Sarah resigned as governor of Alaska and became a contributor to the Fox News channel the following year. She became an unofficial spokesperson for the populist Tea Party movement. She delivered the keynote address at the first National Tea Party convention in February 2010, and her support in the run-up to the November midterm elections helped several Tea Party candidates beat the more established Republican politicians in the congressional primaries. The candidates had mixed general election results. She left Fox News in 2015 when others challenged her political importance. Sarah, however, was a strong supporter of Donald Trump in 2016 election, who eventually secured the nomination and the presidency. Thank you very much for watching our videos. We'll appreciate if you subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends. We love you.